Hello and welcome to Storyboarding. I'm going to give you a guided facilitation. That's what this video will do, is guide you through about a 30-minute exercise. You can adjust it as needed. But this will be about a 30-minute exercise in creating storyboards. You can make it longer, you can make it shorter, whatever works for you. At certain points in time during this video, I'll have you pause to do a particular activity. So let's get started. To begin, if you might be with a small group, you might be doing this as an individual or with a large team. But to begin, get clear around what it is that you actually want to create a storyboard about. Is it a particular user experience, a person's experience? Is it something you want to see in the future? Sometimes we'll do current state and future state storyboards. Those are really great as well. So determine what it is that you are going to do your storyboards about. I'm going to pause here just in case you need some clarity around that. So go ahead and pause this video and come back when you've got a little bit of clarity about what you might like to storyboard together. Okay, so hopefully you have a little bit of clarity on what you might want to be creating a storyboard for, and we'll get started. So let's spend about 5 minutes reflecting on what it is that you know about this experience, or what it is that you're actually trying to learn or trying to work towards. So this is just discussion about, what is it that we're each going to do? How do we want to capture these storyboards? What's the purpose of these storyboards? And divide up who's going to be doing what. So go ahead and pause the video now and get some clarity around who's doing what storyboards. Make sure you also have materials with you. If you're doing this in person, have some paper and pens with you. If you are doing this through a distributed team and you're all on camera, or maybe you're a bit of a hybrid team, if you're on camera, just to make sure that you are able to utilize potentially breakout rooms to share in smaller groups, or you can upload the storyboards that you create to a mural, or just hold them up on screen. Can't see them very well, but it'll suffice. So determine what your process is to be able to share with each other and get the tools that you need and get a little bit of clarity. Come back in 5 minutes. All right, now we're going to get to sketching. So I want to give a little disclaimer around sketching. I am not a good artist at all. And that's okay, because what I like to say is stick people are people too. So don't worry about how great of an artist you are. You don't need to be a good artist for this. You can draw stick figures, you can draw arrows, you can draw boxes and circles. Really, the point is to get out your thoughts and ideas onto a piece of paper, because in the process of drawing, we actually become more creative and we engage more parts of our brain in that exercise. Sometimes I've used this exercise as well to get feedback from the people that I'm trying to design for. I'll say, could you sketch out and draw a picture or a storyboard about what experience this is like for you now, or maybe what you want it to be. So lots of ways you can do this. But for the purposes of today, get ready yourself to draw some storyboards. So again, stick people are people too. So what we're going to do is have your materials in front of you. We're going to take, let's say, 5 minutes to do your sketching. I would recommend, if you guys are in person or if you're a remote distributed team, it's nice to have some quiet music going in the background. Go ahead, you can, if you're virtually, you can pause or mute your audio, and just have some nice quiet reflection time to draw the things that you're thinking about. So go ahead and pause this video now, take 5 minutes, and then come back and I'll move you to the next part of the exercise. Okay, welcome back from drawing. I hope that brought up a little bit of those fun childhood. I know there's, it's kind of funny trying to actually draw and sketch out things if you haven't done that for a while. So the next step is I want you to spend some time discussing and sharing what it is that you did. I've accounted for 10 minutes here. If you have a larger group or if you're doing this a little bit differently, feel free to take more time. But what we're going to do now is share out what the storyboards were that you created, and kind of go through them scene by scene. I would recommend for each storyboard, you really don't need to spend more than, say, I don't know, 3 minutes or so on a storyboard. Gauge that with what makes the most sense for you, but that's kind of a good rule of thumb as you're sharing out with your group. So let's spend about 10 minutes or whatever you might need to share and discuss your storyboards. So go ahead and pause this video, and when we come back, we'll discuss what the next step is. All right. So now that you've had a chance to share with each other, to share your storyboards, to go through what is it you're thinking, now we're going to just kind of take a deep breath and we're going to discuss insights. What is it that's standing out for us? What things are kind of interesting? What's really curious? What might be surprising? I've accounted for 5 minutes. Take more time if you need that. But go ahead and pause this video now and discuss what's surprising, what's interesting, what's curious to you. What are some insights that are coming from the storyboards that you've shared with one another? Go ahead and pause this video now. All right. The final step is what's next? How do you want to wrap this up? There's a lot of different ways that you could go in terms of how you wrap it up. I'll give you a few suggestions and then you all can decide what it is that you would like to do. You might want to share these storyboards with other stakeholders. It might be the people you're designing things for. It might be people within your organization that you're hoping to have some influence or get some engagement from. Storyboards are nice visual ways of doing that. You can also decide, well, we actually need to do another round of this. We want to do some more research and maybe do another set of storyboarding. That works as well. And you might decide that you want to take some of these storyboards, let's say if you've done some current state storyboards, and you might want to do what we call a story storm. So it's basically brainstorming with your storyboard. So you lay your storyboard out, even if you have a future state storyboard, you can also do it with your future state storyboard, and you brainstorm additional ideas that might be coming up for you now that you're seeing something happen scene by scene by scene. So it's a great way to brainstorm along really an entire experience. That's one of my favorite techniques, as a matter of fact. So that is another thing to consider that you could do afterwards. But really, what's most important is determine what your next steps are, understand what they are as a group, get some agreement, and continue to move forward in your learning, your experimenting, and bringing some solutions into the world. All right, thank you so much, and happy storyboarding.